Let's get started. Good morning. Take a good seat. Dan, would you lock the door? Do you mind? Thanks. All right, do a nice manual inner rotation of the thighs so the sits bones move back and wide apart. And sit well. So maybe you've been sitting in some ways in the morning, but we rarely sit with a sense of purpose or consciousness. We sit, but this is a time where you say, I'm really paying attention to the way I sit. And as you roll to the frontmost and innermost edge of the sits bones, that helps you widen the pelvic floor, and into that space, the tailbone drops. Come slightly forward, you feel the pelvic floor and the low belly tone. And then the tailbone just gently yearns towards, I like that word, yearns towards the xiphoid process, the bottom tip of the sternum, as the sternum says, okay, I'll reach down to you as well. So it's not a grip or a hardness, but it's an engagement. From there then, as you breathe, lengthen up through the side ribs to where you dome the armpits slightly. The head of the arm bones move back and the shoulder blades slide down the back. Broaden across the collarbones. You're moving out as though you're pushing out through the deltoid, the side of the shoulder. And you're broadening across the top of the shoulder blades. So both are broadening across. Bottom tips of the shoulder blades moving in, not pinching, moving in. Most importantly, the bottom tips of the shoulder blades lift into the back of the heart. Top and bottom of the ears slide back. Close your eyes and come to your breath. And settle, check in with yourself. Invite the breath deeply into the low belly. Imagine that you could breathe the back body, that you breathe in and out through the back body. It's easier if you feel the wall against the back body or someone's hands are right on the back body. But imagine that you have that feedback, physical feedback, and breathe the back body. That always, when I remember to do that, it gives me such a sense of calm and steadiness. And as you check in with yourself and scan what's going on in this crazy, crazy world and how your body, mind, and spirit are reacting to that, we can't not react. If we think we're above it all, then we're either fooling ourselves or we're no longer alive. What's going on around us affects us. So we check in. And then within all of the whirl of the chaos and the crazy, settle into your gratitude practice for the morning. We really are privileged. We have worries and concerns and issues, and things unsettle us, and yet all in all, we're pretty lucky. We have family, friends, a roof, food. So many people do not have that. We take a moment to feel that gratitude. Draw your palms together in front of your heart center. Set your intention for your practice, which will slide into the rest of your day. And we'll chant one soft Om. Inhale, exhale, cleansing breath. Inhale to Om. Release the hands, flutter the eyes open. Ooh, let's start hands and knees. We'll get to the balls. If you have your spiky ball or regular ball, have that to hand, but come first to hands and knees. Sherry, I'm feeling Todd's practice from yesterday, the yoga practice. Like I am feeling that in my glutes. He was working as hard. We'll see if I can remember any of it. All right, so first, so Ruby, you can do this sitting on the edge of the chair, or so you can do it sitting on the edge of a chair, to show Ruby's, if you want to do this in the chair, where we're rounding and arching. So on your hands and knees, round and arch, or you can also do it on the wall where you round and arch if that gives you more freedom. There's multiple ways to get to nirvana. In any case, wake up the spine, rounding and arching, working from the hips. The hips initiate the action with the breath. So as you exhale, the tailbone tucks, the waistline lifts, the head bows. Inhale, the sits bones lift and widen. They can't widen, but they try. Shoulder blades on the back, collarbone and head lifts. With the breath, contracting on the exhale and expanding on the inhale. Sorry, this is knocking against my AirPod and I'm sure it's probably coming through. All right. Oh, breathing. And the next time you come through center, pause. So Ruby, you can either do this against the wall, or sit back down, tuck your toes, sit back on your heels. Take the spiky ball and roll it between your hands. Press and roll. We wake up the hands. Or, of course, the option is to put it on the ground and work it a little more forcefully, a little more intently there. Get the same effect here. And we're stretching out the feet. Oh, feet hurt, don't they? This is painful. Yeah. You could put the blanket there if you wanted to, or come up a bit. Also, this is my Mary Courtney fix. She said sometimes putting a blanket or even blocks under the knees takes part of the pinch out of the toes. So put 2 blocks under the knees or a blanket. If you want more weight, give the blanket if the toes are killing you. All right, come off the toes and just shake them off. Point them. And put the ball to the side for a moment. Walk your knees behind your hips, the hands about a handprint distance in front of your shoulders, claw the floor, tuck your toes, keep the knees bent and come into a little crouch, a crouchy dog. Like crouching tiger, this is crouching dog. Hips move back, push into your hands. So Ruby, you can do the wall dog. Push into your hands. So you're doing upside down letter L at the wall. Sits bones are moving back. Inner thighs widen apart. Tailbone lengthens into all that space as you walk the dog, bending one knee and then the other, stretching the back of the calf. Oh. Soften the knees, walk your hands back to your toes. Ruby, you stay where you are, forward bend at the back of your mat. Oh. Inhale, hands on the hips, come up halfway, soften the knees. Really strengthen the legs, shrug the shoulders, lift the head of the arm bones, hinge from the hips as you rise up to standing on your inhale. Rise up and release. Shake off. All right, work the feet. You know the drill. Push, press, roll. Wow. Some days hold on to what you need to hold on to and start to work the ball of the foot. Have you been running a lot, Carrie, or not? Walking, some biking. Yeah. Get back. Yeah. Then your feet will find this little aha moment after you've run, probably. Yeah. All right, start working towards the back of the heel. And then rinse from the heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Scribble. Wake it up. Pause. Notice the difference between the two sides. And go to side B. So for those of you who haven't or don't know about it or haven't taken it, Laura Abbott-Cohn is teaching the Tuesday class from 7 to 8. She is filling in for Selva. Selva is going on early maternity leave. Her family did not want her out a lot. She's pregnant. And she's not due, I think, until September, something like that, or maybe even October. But she'll be out for a while. But we'll get her back as soon as she thinks she can come back. At any rate, we're so lucky to have Laura Abbott-Cohn. She used to have the yoga studio near here called Dragonfire. So a number of people who come here have come to her. She's a Viniyoga teacher. Her classes are lovely. And Eileen, I was thinking of you. You had asked for more pranayama, more breath work. She spends a lot of time. It's a very gentle class, very gentle, and but lovely. I felt so energized and calm after it. It was really beautiful. Tuesday nights at 7. We'll try to get her more, but she has kids. Scribble, rinse if you haven't already. And she's both online and in the studio. All right, roll it away. Let's do a wall sun salutation, just to know that we can do it, and then you'll have a choice to stay at the wall or move to the mat. But it's kind of nice. So you don't need to move your mat, Carrie. You can just go to the wall. Dan, you can go to this wall. So what do we do in sun salutation? We do, so just to go over regular, we do Tadasana. We'll fold. We step back either to a lunge and then a plank. We'll lower down, come up, dog, step back up, come up, and up. That's essentially what we're doing. So on the wall, then we start Tadasana, just face the wall and stand Tadasana. Exhale, forward bend is the same as wall dog. Wall dog is upside down letter L. So you come into an upside down letter L. Instead of stepping back, step the right toes to where the toes just curl up the baseboard a bit, but the four corners of the feet are on the wall. Inner rotate the back leg, the back heel is lifted. It's not down. The inner thigh moves in and up towards the ceiling. Light on the fingertips, pull the fingertips down, bend the knee right over the ankle. You get a nice stretch here. Then plank. So plank can be, if the front foot moves back to the back foot, that's a pretty strong plank. If that's too much, you'll step closer up. But this is kind of the regular plank with the arms straight, soften the heart. And then a cobra, step up to the wall, pull the hands down the wall, and lift the heart. I'm sure you can see me on the wall here. Hang on a second. There we go. All right, so you're pulling the hands down the wall, lifting the heart. With the left toes on the wall, step back to a lunge, slide the fingertips down the wall. The fingertips are Spider-Man finger. You're pulling them down the wall and the elbows in so the heart can lift. The shoulders are over the hips. And then step just regular, a few feet away from the wall. Tadasana, Urdhva Hasta Tadasana, rise up, arms up. Exhale, release. Let's try it again. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower the arms. Step the right toes to the wall and the left toes back. light on the fingertips, bend the front knee, scissor the legs. The back toes are dragging forward, front foot dragging back. Pull the fingertips down the wall. You feel it into the shoulder blades. Heart lifts, shoulders are right over the hips. Either plant the hands and step the front foot back and come into a plank. You can lower the hands a little bit so they're not so high that they're, and then you can always step up to, this is your volume control, how close your feet are to the wall. Hug the elbows into the midline and bend the elbows. This is like baby chaturanga. Bend the elbows, take the heart to the wall, push back. Bend the elbows, hug them in, take the heart to the wall, push back. Do the best you can to keep the forearms parallel to the floor. That may mean you have to move the hands down the wall, little baby push-ups until the biceps, triceps, and deltoids scream. Step your left toes to the wall. Back heel is up, right heel is up. Again, light on the fingertips. Now you have no weight on the hands. Pull the fingers isometrically down the wall. That helps you lift the heart. Keep scissoring the legs and watch the back leg. The back leg will want to turn out. Want to roll the inner right thigh in and up towards the ceiling. And then step all the way to the wall. Hands about chest level, elbows in. Pull the hands down the wall. As much as you press from the core of the pelvis down through the feet, curl the upper body up, cobra. The back of the neck is long. Feel this in the upper body. Release. All right, that's like no small thing. So that's sun salutation. Let's take a break and stretch the shoulders out and then see how the second round feels. Take strap. Ruby, how was that for you? That's like work, right? Yeah. So I find if I work the wall enough, like I still have to work the legs, everything, it's plenty of a workout. I know Allison likes the wall. She gets a lot of work out of it. It's just a different kind of work than you do when you're in the middle of the floor. All right, so overhead, again, if your shoulders are tight, you take a wider V. If your shoulders are loose, mine aren't particularly loose, here, just what, if you have a buckle, be careful the buckle doesn't slap you in the face. So I get it close to me, so it's not so. So the legs, very strong. Feet parallel, lift all 10 toes, connect with the four corners of the feet, hug the heels towards each other isometrically, press the shins energetically forward, you soften the knees, inner thighs move back, tailbone lengthens to lengthen the legs long. Keep that bottom ribs move down. As you lift the arms, the bottom ribs want to pop up, so you pull them down. Pull the shoulder blades down the back as you pull the strap away. Bend the arms in cactus and pull the elbows back. Notice as soon as you pull the elbows back, the bottom ribs want to pop out. So Dan, pull your bottom ribs back and down a lot without holding your breath. There you go. It's when he starts to turn really red, I figured out that he's holding his breath. Breathe. And arc back, curl back. Just get this in your upper back, nothing in the lower back. And release. Shake off, make circles. You can come in a little bit more. Lift the arms. Again, the legs are strong. The arms are a little bit, start a little bit forward of the ears. And then they might move parallel with the ears. But here's how you know when not to take them. If my shoulder blades are down the back when the arms are forward, but if I start to change my voice and do this, then I need to pull them forward. You can also widen. As you press down through both feet, rise up and stretch over to the right. The left arm's pulling up, the left hand is pulling down. So you're pulling equally, one's not winning. Press down through the left foot even more. And as you press through the legs, inhale, rise up. Other side, exhale. As much as the left arm is moving down, pull with the right arm. So there's resistance. It's like the left arm saying, this is hard, let go, let go. And straightening the arms from the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. And inhale, rise up. Oh, all right, one last one. You can either interlace the hands, or I like a little bit of distance here. It gives my shoulders a little freedom. And a little bit of distance really depends on your shoulders, how much you need. Use it. Set the feet, feet parallel, knees bent, lift the sits bones and bow forward. So you can stay in half forward bend or come all the way down into full forward bend, stretching the arms towards the floor in front of you, wherever front is. The direction your toes are pointing, take the arms, the hands that way. A little tiny rotation to the right, a little tiny rotation to the left in the upper torso, not the hips. Hips stay stable. Oh. Next time you come to center, pause, come up halfway, take a breath, release. Next inhale, rise all the way up. Oh, shake off. That, I think if we just did that little belt sequence every day, a lot of this stuff would go away. All right, so choose your poison. Do a wall sun salutation or a regular in the middle of the floor sun salutation. They both work. Stand Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, rise up, arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Ruby, come into half forward bend, wall dog. The rest of us come down. With the left toes on the wall or left foot forward, reach the right leg back. Light on the fingertips. The knee bends where the shin is straight up and down. And here, let's do a straighten, bend, bend, straighten. Oh, straightening one leg, bending the other. And here's the levels, the volume levels. Light on the fingertips, they can be on the wall or on the floor. And Carrie, just make sure your knee does not come forward of your ankle there. So if it does, so one leg straight, one leg's bent. There, now bend straight, there you go. All right, levels of difficulty. Take your hands off the floor. Lift the head of the arm bones. Or the hands, careful Ruby, don't go crazy. You can just get lighter on your fingertips, try that. So you can try lighter on the fingertips on the floor or the wall, or take the hands off, or completely say, look, Ma, no hands. Shrug the shoulders, lift the head of the arm bones. Ooh. Then release, step back plank pose. So if you're on the ground, if you're on the wall, do some little baby push-ups. So Ruby, pull your hands down the wall, a little closer in towards the midline, hug the elbows into the middle. No, yeah, there you go. And it's the heart that's moving towards the floor. So for those of us on the floor, you can keep the knees up. I like to bend my knees, hug the thumbs towards each other, elbows hug, and just move the heart towards the thumbs just a tiny bit and push up. You can lower the knees all the way, Kara, if you want, or do full. So it's bending the elbows now. There, like this. Yeah, but don't let the elbows pop out to the side. Hug them back, hug them back. You see how that's harder? Yeah, so we do this, and what happens, you're putting this weird torque on the wrist that's going out. So you keep the elbows moving back and then lower all the way to the floor. So Ruby, step close to the wall and hands down by your ribs, but pull them in a little bit. Like this, Ruby. Like that. There you go. And if you step, so we're all the way and we're doing a cobra. So stretch your legs long behind you, inner thighs move towards the back body, tailbone lengthens, shrug the shoulders, lift the head of the arm bones, and inhale the upper body up. So Ruby, where you are with this is like this. You're here, the hands are here, you're pulling the hands down, hugging the elbows in, and curling the upper body up. So plant the hands, there you go. Not by the chin, from the heart. There, lengthen the, nice. Lengthen the back of the neck, all of you. Exhale, release. Step back, downward facing dog. This is where dog is almost a resting pose. Next, inhale, step your right toes, right foot forward. If you're on the wall, the toes are just curling up the baseboard, but the whole foot's on the floor. Back heel is high. And bend, straighten, straighten, bend. Use blocks as you need to. You guys know the drill. Straighten, bend, straighten. Start practicing light on the fingertips, and then start practicing just hands off. And you'll know when it's not wise, because if you go on down that dark road, somebody will be calling 911 soon. So you put the fingertips down. You just play the edge. Straighten, bend, straighten. And then step up to the top of your mat. Maybe you just step close to the wall, or step a little away from the wall so you can lift your arms. And inhale, rise up. Tadasana, mountain pose. And release. Whew. A couple of those warms you right up. Using the wall, so you guys can go back to the wall without the mat if you want. Take a block with you. And sorry, Sherry, I'm causing you to move around a lot. I take a wide stance. So when you're off the mat on these cork floors, they can be a little slipperier. So you actually have to engage more. So you take as wide a stance as you feel. And if you really want your mat over there, definitely put it there. Turn your left toes to the left. So you guys will not mirror me anymore. So turn your left toes to where they parallel the floor. Yeah. All right. The block comes between the wall and your foot. So you want to be far enough away from the wall. Yeah. So Ruby, take it. And you may even, Ruby, you want to put this chair on this side. You may want to change it just so you have that to hold on to forward ways. I don't want you falling off the wall. There you go. Lift all 10 toes. Hug to the midline. Inner thighs move back, tailbone down. And first, bend the front knee, and the fingertips can come to the block, maybe, or the chair. You can actually, Ruby, take your arm and just place it on the chair right there, a little more stable, right? Right now, your left bum is on the wall, correct? You can also put the elbow on the forearm if that's easier. Left bum's on the wall right now. Scissor the legs, inner rotate the thighs so the left bum goes even closer to the wall, and then scoop the left bum away from the wall without moving the back thigh forward. See if you can get the left bum. It may still touch, but you're pulling it away from the wall as best you can. Take the head of your right arm bone back towards the wall. It may not touch. And so your left bum may still touch, but it's very light touch as opposed to the beginning. And breathe. Push down, rise up. Turn the legs. Do you feel that in the hip there? Yeah, and the hip flexors, the inner hip flexors in particular, because what we tend to do in this pose, I'll show from the side, is that we tend to pop this way back. If I'm out in the middle of the room and you see how the knee starts to, I'm exaggerating, but that's the direction a lot of us go. So when we have the wall feedback, we can keep trying to pull the front bum in. So change sides. And your feet are, the reason I put the block between the wall and the foot, even if you don't use it, it's kind of a measure. So depending on your bum, the block may be the narrow or the medium, and also how much support you want, but it just keeps you from jamming yourself too close to the wall. So the front foot is parallel with the wall. The back foot is perpendicular, or even a little slightly turned in. Bend the front knee. The front bum, the right bum, is on the wall. And Ruby, just be careful that your front knee does not come forward of your ankle. So it means you can widen your stance. Woohoo! Okay. Forearm on the thigh or the block or a piece of furniture in front of you. The left hand's on the hip. Take the head of the left arm bone back. So it's as though you're trying to put both shoulder blades on the wall. My shoulder blades are not on the wall. They're about this far from the wall, but it's moving in that direction. Center back of the head's moving to the wall. Center back of the head actually might touch the wall if that's, I mean, doesn't have to. Now scissor the legs. Inner back thigh moves towards the wall, but scoop the right sit bone of front legs away from the wall. And you feel that deeper in the hip flexor. There's a lot of work going on there. As the back inner thigh is going back, the front sit bone's coming forward. It's a ringing action. Inhale, rise up. Oh, I can't keep my legs wide for a length of time, but I like to release. If you want to keep them out, fine. All right, triangle pose. Again, turn the first side, the left toes parallel to the wall. Again, you're about the same distance, about a block distance away from the wall, or a little bit more. So we could always get you 2 chairs there, Ruby. There's a solution. All right, lift all 10 toes, connect with the 4 corners of the feet, scissor the legs in, press the shins energetically forward as the inner thighs move back and apart, tailbone down, the toes can stretch along the floor. Hands on the hips. The front leg bum, the left bum is on the wall. The left elbow's on the wall. The right bum, the back leg bum, is away from the wall. So see if you can take your bum to the wall, Dan. Your front leg bum, your left bum. Go all the way to the wall. You can get your back to the wall. See if you can get both shoulder blades a little closer, particularly the right one, the opposite, without rearing back, so you can't pull the bum away from the wall. Now just tilt. If you tend to hyperextend, this leg will just lock. Front leg is straight, but don't lock it. So for lockers in the group, I know who you are, scissor in and just micro bend and tilt as the hands are pushing to lengthen the side body. So we tend to collapse the side body. Want to lengthen the bottom side body, your left side body. And the shoulder blades, the back of the head are on the wall. And just rest here for a moment. You should feel a little bit of stretch right in here and some work in the hips, unless you're really loose here. All right, release. Now, step the back foot out away from the wall a little bit and turn it in more, doing a revolve triangle. So the left foot is still forward, but the back foot, you're a little bit closer stance. You're not as wide, so you're stepping in a bit, and turn the toes more like walking Egyptian, where both feet are facing the same direction. Pull the strength up from the 4 corners of the feet, maybe even lifting the toes. That always helps me. And then inner thighs move back, tailbone down, and from the core of the pelvis, push down and push the legs apart as much as they're pulling in. Now turn towards the wall. Place your hands on the wall. This is very Egyptian, right? Isn't this kind of the Egyptian thing where they're walking like this? Notice that your front hip, the left hip, wants to move towards the wall. Pull it away from the wall. And the outer left hip comes away from the wall and moves back. Keep turning the heart towards the wall. You can stay here. This might be enough. Or the left arm reaches up towards 12 o'clock and the right arm reaches down towards 6 o'clock. Maybe, but Ruby, here's what, you turn here and just do this. To the degree you can. Yeah, you might not be able to get all the way around. That's plenty. Now breathe, try not to drop the head. Yeah, there you go. That's good. And so if you're moving towards revolved triangle, the bottom fingertips, the right fingertips move towards the floor to 6 o'clock, and the left fingertips move up towards the ceiling at 12 o'clock. The heart's moving towards the wall and you're pulling the outer. So Carrie, if you can tilt from the waist, look like this. Tilt from the waist. There you go. To the degree you can. If you get to the block, fine. If not, who cares? Inhale, come up. Oh. Just pull the feet together and take a little rest right here with the bum on the wall. Yeah, that gets the hip flexor big time. Absolutely. All right, side B. Grateful I only have 2 sides. All right, first is triangle. So the front foot is at least a block width away from the wall, maybe a tiny bit more depending on how you're feeling, how stable you're feeling. The front bum is on the wall. Not this way, Dan. The side, let's say your side hip is on, there you go. Now keep that and rotate the upper body for both shoulder blades on the wall. Right? That shows you the level of twist that's in this pose. Scissor the legs together, inner thighs move back and wide apart. Don't lock the front knee, but keep pulling, lifting the kneecap up, hands on the hips with the right shoulder blade on the wall, hands on your hips, Dan. There you go. The right shoulder blade is on the wall, front leg is straight, just tilt towards your front leg, which is your right leg. The left shoulder blade is probably off the wall, but you're working it towards the wall, center back of the head on the wall. Yeah, there you go. Straighten the front leg, Ruby, if you can. Woo, both legs are straight. And you only tilt as long as you can, keeping this underside as long as possible. This tends to collapse, so it's more lengthening. Be careful not to lock the front knee as you tilt farther. Maybe you come to the block, maybe you don't, it doesn't matter. Just keep, and the heart's moving up to the ceiling as the low belly's moving towards the floor. Use the legs to help you push up. Wow. Step your back foot forward and turn it in, walking Egyptian for revolved triangle. This is a hard pose, but the wall helps us approximate it to the degree that we're ready. So you have to step far enough away from the wall. My front leg hip, the right hip is totally away from the wall. It's not on it at all. I'm about that far away from the wall, from the hip. Scissor the legs. If you need to step even a little closer together, that's fine. Scissor the legs. And as the torso turns towards the wall, the hands reach back behind you. The tendency will be to pop the front hip, your right hip towards the wall, pull it away from the wall, and the low belly's moving back to the left, away from the wall. This may be enough for you. If you want to start to tilt, then you tilt as the top arm, your right arm stretches towards the ceiling, and the left arm moves down towards 6 o'clock. And you tilt, hinge from the hips to the degree you can. The heart keeps turning towards the wall, and you'll notice that the right hip wants to bang up against the wall, so you keep pulling it away, and you tilt as far as you think is smart. Oh, till you feel your fair share of sensation. Next, inhale, press down to rise up. Oh, just take a wall dog while you're here, just to even out. Oh. And come to take a seat. So you can sit on the floor, on a chair, for a series of seated twists. I recommend sitting on a blanket if you're on the floor. Just regular Dandasana, so do a nice manual inner rotation of the thighs. This is where you may want your strap, so you can have it near you. Just free your trapped buttocks so the sits bones are revealed, and you can roll to the frontmost, innermost. Legs are straight. Flex the feet, pull the baby toe side of the feet back towards you, and bend a fair bit. And notice, are you bending and rolling in? Can you keep the knees, hip joints, ankle bones even? So you can bend a fair bit and lift up. So you can press on the chair, press on the floor to lengthen the side body, pull the head of the arm bones back and roll the shoulder blades down the back. From here, just tilt the hips forward, not the shoulders. Keep the shoulders back, tilt the hips forward. Tilt the hips forward. You might be able, sometimes it helps to hold the back of the thighs as you pull the chest through and tilt forward. Get a little stretch in the low back and you tilt as far forward as it works. If you hold the back of your thighs, Dan, and pull the elbows back and in, pull the chest forward as you tilt. And notice what happens, because we think we need to go further, we either lift the chin really high or we totally drop the head. The head, neck, spine are neutral. You're neither dropping the head nor lifting it. So where are you feeling this mostly? I feel this in the low back a bit. It's kind of a gentle stretch. Yeah, in the hips and the low back. So we're not getting into the hamstrings as much yet, maybe a little bit. A little more hamstrings is to start to press the shins forward. Fingertips can be, you can hold on to the chair, Ruby, or the back of the thighs, or here, the other option is to use the strap and then use this like you're pulling back. So the reason I pull back and the elbows pull back, that lifts my chest. If I'm stretching this way, you see how the shoulders then get rounded. So if you pull back and pull the elbows back, then that helps me tilt from the hips. As you start to straighten the legs, you start to feel more into the hamstrings and a little deeper into the hip flexors. The more the back lengthens. So you go long, long, long as far as you can. So drop the chin a little bit, Carrie, and lift the back of the neck and pull your heart through. Pull, not chin, heart. There you go. Chin, heart, chin, heart, chin, heart. I know we all do that. So do not feel that that's something just you do. I see that. I even do it. It's like, I'm going to go forward, so my chin. That's called, what are we, sticking your chin out, right? It's like when fighting, they say, get the chin in, move it in. And you just do a nice seated forward nice. You may say not so much nice. Forward bends take patience. They're very calming on the nervous system, but they're not so easy. They're simple, but not easy. And then inhale, oh, shake it off. Bend your knees, lean back, and drop the knees to one side. So Ruby, what you'll do is the seated twist where you're moving like this. Yeah. So let's drop them to the left. The opposite bum comes up. The inner right knee moves all the way down to the floor. So if you start with your feet wide enough apart, the knees have room to come up. The right hand to the outside of to the left knee somewhere, and begin to move the ribs around towards the back, towards away from me. The inner right belly keeps pulling back, even though the right hip is lifting, the inner right belly is pulling back as you stretch. Inhale, come back to center. So the feet are pretty wide, mat width apart, and you tilt and roll all the way to the right bum. The left bum comes off. The inner left knee is on the floor. The feet are flexed, right angle, sort of, a little tighter. The left hand pushes across the top of the right knee to help you spin the ribs around. Again, the inner left belly keeps moving back, even though the left hip's off the floor quite a bit. In fact, let it come off, but the inner left belly keeps working the twist back around to stabilize the sacrum. You inhale, lengthen, exhale, deepen the twist. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, deepen the twist. Next, inhale, come back around. Stretch the legs out. Take a wide stand, a wide stretch. Again, bend the knees. You can tilt back as much as you need to. And so, Ruby, dig your heels into the floor and bend your knees up a tiny bit. It's like you're pulling the heels back. Yeah. And same thing, you tilt from the hips. This is all one long line, like you have an ironing board duct taped to your back and the back of the head. Nothing's moving faster. It's all tilting as one until you feel a proper stretch. Be careful not to let the knees roll out nor in. I can't roll them in, but some people can. They're as though you have a candle right here on the top of the knee. If the hands reach out, you can also use the strap here. Oh, but getting it around the feet is part of the problem. And again, pulling the elbows back so the heart lifts. If we stretch out and rolling the shoulders forward, pull in and tilt forward from the heart. So Ruby, one way to do that is to pull it, the feet together and pull it there and then stretch out from there. Demonstration doesn't work so well. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and so Carrie, you can reach to the outside of the legs. Just reach the outside of the thighs and hold on and pull, or the outside of the calves, whatever you want. Pull the elbows back and the heart lifts. So lengthen, yeah, lengthen, lengthen. Flex your feet a tiny bit more and inner rotate the inner thighs. So you see how the toes are winging out to the side? You want that to be all straight up and nice. Oh. This is tight. The inner thighs, the adductors get very tight, especially when we sit and when we get stressed. Inhale, release. All right. Roll all the way on your back. Ruby, stay in the chair. And we'll do a pigeon on the back. All right, so Ruby, what you'll do is the number 4 where you cross one leg over. There you go. Keep the foot flexed. And then lengthen. You can use the chair behind you to lengthen both sides. Yeah. And then tilt the hips forward until you feel some stretch right in here. Okay, that's the face. Oh, yeah. Long as you're feeling your fair share of sensation, the body's happy. All right, draw your right knee in towards your right armpit, so a little bit off to the side. Then the shin comes across the body. We're skipping half happy baby here. The shin comes across the body and shovel scoop under the shin. The right elbow presses into the inner right thigh. The right elbow is pressing the right thigh away from the ribs as the hands, particularly the left arm hand, is pulling the right ankle towards the left shoulder. Foot is flexed, right foot is flexed. Keep the left knee bent and the left knee straight up. Don't let it get lazy and wing out to the side. And take a breath here. As you exhale, push the elbow into the thigh and pull the shin closer towards the chest. Inhale, lengthen tailbone to crown. See if you can get your low back curve back. Exhale, pull the leg in. Even if it's in your mind, you may say there's no more way to pull it in. Just engage just a smidge. If you want a little more stretch, straighten the left leg. If you want more, there's the full baby cradle wrap. Oh. With each exhale, you pull in. Inhale, get a little more low back curve, lengthen as best you can. Oh. And follow the breath. If you straighten the left leg, bend it again and put it on the floor. Cross your knees all the way over each other. Drop the heels towards the bum. So Ruby, just stay where you are in that stretch. If you need to change sides, if you're cramping, then you can change sides and then change again when we get through it. If it feels okay to leave it on this side, that's fine. Okay, so you can, sometimes I can't hold it that long, I just need to change a bunch of times. So to ride the Harley here, hands on top of the knees, slide them down the shins until they come somewhere to the outside, towards the ankle, the outside. Pull the heels towards the bum as the knees move away from the chest, getting a low back curve. On your next inhale, start to lift the shins parallel with the floor. Exhale, pull the ankles towards the shoulders and get more low back curve. Inhale, press the shins energetically up. Exhale, pull the ankles towards the shoulders. Oh. And release. Ruby, you can release. And you'll do a seated twist. We'll keep the knees here, bump the hips over to the right, and roll towards the left hip. The feet come to the floor, but the knees probably don't. both shoulder blades evenly weighted on the floor. As the legs and the low belly move to the left, the ribs, the heart, and the gaze gently move to the right. With each inhale, hug the knees together and inner rotate the thighs. With each exhale, deepen the twist. The legs move more to the left, the ribs move more to the right. If you're feeling tension in your neck, it means you've tried to turn it from your neck faster. So just relax the gaze. It's just the gaze goes to the right. The whole head does not have to go to the right if that's too intense. So with each inhale, squeeze the knees together, inner thighs move back towards the, away from your belly, I guess. And exhale, deepen the twist more. Next, inhale, come back to center. Shake it off. All right, baby cradle on this side, pigeon on this side. You can always do pigeon right side up if you wish. Shovel scoop under the shin, the calf. Wiggle your left elbow into your left thigh, inner left thigh, and press the left thigh away from the belly as the arms, particularly the right arm, pulls the left heel towards the right shoulder. Get your low back curve, recover your low back curve. Lengthen the tailbone without smashing the low back. On each inhale, lengthen the tailbone. Exhale, pull the shin a little closer towards the heart. Exhale, lengthen the tailbone and push the inner thigh away from the belly more. Exhale, pull the shin closer to the heart. You can straighten the right leg if you want a little more stretch. You can come into full or half happy baby wrap. Use the breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen the hip flexor. Stretch a little bit more. Next, inhale, release. Cross the knees all the way over. Heels come close to the bum. Hands on top of the kneecap. Slide the hands somewhere down the leg towards the ankle, maybe get to the ankle or get halfway down. With the heels closer to the bum, then you can pull the heels up towards the armpits as the knees move away. This may be where you stay. You get a low back curve here. With each inhale, just raise the shins a tiny bit towards the ceiling. Exhale, pull the feet towards the shoulders. A little inhale, lift a tiny bit more. Exhale, pull the feet towards the shoulders. You recover some part of your low back curve. Keep doing that with the breath. So each change and adjustment, the breath finds the way. It tunnels out the ways through the tightness, through the sensation. Shoulder blades on the back, relax the head of the arm bones towards the floor. Relax the jaw, the face. This is just in the hip flexors. Holy gamoly, is it? Release the arms, the hands, stretch the arms in a T position, bump your hips over to the side and twist. So Ruby, you'll do a seated twist and turn, reaching back towards the back of the chair. So here, this is an active twist. You're squeezing the knees towards each other. As the low belly and the knees go off to the right, the ribs, chest, heart, and gaze turn towards the left. So as you inhale, you strengthen and hug in. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen and strengthen. Exhale, twist. Again, if you turn the head too fast and the torso is not going with you, you'll feel strain in the neck. So just release that a little bit. The gaze can roll all the way to the left, but the head may or may not go to the left. Next, inhale, release, shake off. Oh my gosh. Get ready for, do any movements you want to do in preparation for final relaxation. Shavasana. Use any props, supports, blankets under your knees. Let me get the lights out of your eyes there. Yeah, Ruby, if you can put the roll in your back. Yeah, it goes, sometimes it's hard to get it back there. Let me see if I can do it for you. Just let me roll it this way. Whoops. No, I think you're right. I did have it the way you rolled it. Okay, and that goes there and now. So in the curve of the back, there you get, and yeah, you wiggle your, oh, right? That's the right answer. That's definitely the right answer. Get to the place where you have that sigh of relief and release. Begin to deepen your breath. As your breath deepens, invite gentle movement. Your fingers, toes, hands and feet, stretching your arms and legs. Getting to move the head side to side, yawning if you feel a yawn coming on, stretching the face. And then gradually draw your knees in and roll to your side and rest there for a few moments. And gently rolling a little more towards the floor, use the strength of your arms to press yourself up to a seated position and sit well. And just notice how after, that was a strong practice. I felt it, my body was vibrating during you can either do seated meditations or on your back Shavasana, but to some degree, when you've worked that hard, come to a stillness, just settle. Draw your palms together in front of the heart center. Draw back into your intention for your practice. Where that intention originated, hopefully out of gratitude. And bow, namaste. Thank you guys.